Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content every week. Stay tuned, exciting videos are coming your way. Let's go. The 1996 £1 coin struck during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II is more than a simple piece of metal used for everyday purchases. It is a small time capsule that reflects Britain's heritage, craftsmanship and changing coinage traditions in the late 20th century. Visually, the coin carries the familiar obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, the same realistic effigy that appears on much of the 1980s and 1990s coinage, with the monarch depicted in profile wearing the diadem. This portrait reinforces the continuity of the crown across decades and links the coin to the long sequence of British circulating coinage. On the reverse, the £1 coin continues the Royal Mint's tradition of using national and heraldic motifs to capture regional identities, history and symbolism important to the United Kingdom. Designers working for the Mint chose imagery that would be recognizable to the public while also offering variety across different years and special issues, so the 1996 reverse must be read not just as ornament but as deliberate storytelling in miniature. The coin's edge, metal composition and finish were engineered for everyday handling, produced to withstand circulation yet detailed enough to reward careful inspection. The strike quality, relief and lettering all demonstrate the Royal Mint's production standards. In terms of context, the 1990s were a period when collectors' attention to modern circulating coinage increased. People started to keep interesting examples, look for minting errors, and seek out uncirculated specimens for albums and investments, so a 1996 £1 in brilliant uncirculated or proof condition is of far greater interest to numismatists than one that has been knocked about in pockets for years. When evaluating any 1996 £1 coin, collectors look first at condition, the presence or absence of scratches, nicks, hairlines, and surface wear, then at patina and toning, which if even unattractive can add to a coin's visual appeal but only to the taste of collectors. Improper cleaning will quickly destroy value. Variations and errors, such as off-center strikes, double strikes, incorrect planchette weight, or die cracks, or where modern coins can suddenly become rare and sought after, these are the anomalies that can transform a face value pound into a piece commanding premiums at auction. Provenance and packaging matter too. A coin preserved in original Royal Mint packaging or certified and graded by a respected third-party service will usually command a higher price because buyers can trust authenticity and grade. For those curious about market value, remember that most circulated 1996 £1 coins retain mostly sentimental or face value significance. It is only when you find exceptional condition, rare varieties, or genuine mint errors that prices start to climb significantly, and even then values fluctuate with collector interest and general market conditions. If you are handling a 1996 £1 and want to assess it yourself, use a magnifier to check the detail on the portrait and reverse, examine the edge and lettering, and compare to high-quality reference photos rather than relying on memory. Avoid aggressive cleaning. Never use acids, polishes or abrasives, because these will leave micro scratches and chemical residues that reduce collector value permanently. Store coins in inert holders, mylar flips, or acid-free albums. Keep them in a stable, low-humidity environment out of direct sunlight, and handle them by the edges with cotton gloves where possible to prevent oils from your skin from causing marks. When selling or buying, seek reputable dealers or auction houses and, for higher value pieces, ask for grading or a certificate of authenticity. Online marketplaces are convenient but require caution. Ask for clear photos of both faces, the edge, and any packaging, and request close-ups of areas where errors might appear. Beyond monetary value, the 1996 £1 is historically interesting. It sits between earlier, simpler coinage designs and the more security-focused and multi-faceted pound coins introduced later, reflecting a time when national identity and traditional heraldry were still central to coin design rather than the micro-engraving and bimetallic innovations that would follow in the 2000s. Collectors often treasure these late 20th century pounds because they represent everyday British life, the coins you might find in a drawer, a collection, or on the street, and each carries stories of the year's economy, the mint's production runs, and the hands that used it. If you are making a video, emphasize close-up shots of the portrait, the reverse motif, the edge lettering, and any unusual marks or toning. Narrate the coin's physical details slowly so listeners can imagine them, explain condition and grading in plain language, and finish by offering practical advice on identification, storage, and where to go for further appraisal. In short, the 1996 Elizabeth £1 is both an object of daily utility and a collectible with layers of history, design, and potential rarity, a simple coin that rewards careful attention, whether you're a casual finder, an enthusiastic collector, or someone curious about how the small, everyday objects around us silently record a nation's story. The 2008 United Kingdom £1 coin marks an important moment in recent British coinage. It is the first circulating £1 to carry the Shield of the Royal Arms, reverse from Matthew Dent's influential heraldic set, and it pairs that new reverse with the fourth crowned portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank Broadley on the obverse, a combination that signals both a modern redesign and continuity with tradition. Visually, the reverse shows a stylized segment of the royal shield, the same shield whose four quarters are split across several coin denominations in Dent's scheme, and on the £1 coin the shield is presented as the dominant central motif, framed simply by the words 1 and pound on either side. The effect is deliberately heraldic and compact, intended to link the pound with the rest of the decimal set introduced in the Royal Mint's redesign program. The obverse retains the Rank Broadley effigy of Her Majesty, the fourth portrait, which had been used on circulating coinage since 1998 and gives the coin a familiar royal profile, while the legend around the portrait carries the traditional Latin inscription indicating Elizabeth II as monarch and defender of the faith. Technically, the standard circulating 2008 £1 follows the familiar pre-2017 round pound specifications used for cupro-nickel pieces. Its composition, diameter and weight were consistent with the modern round £1 format, and the Royal Mint also produced specially struck proof and collector versions in sterling silver and in gold with differing weights and fineness for those premium issues. The coin's edge continues the long-standing tradition of carrying a Latin edge inscription, Decus et Tudiment, a phrase used historically on British coin edges as both a decorative motto and a measure against clipping. On the 2008 pieces, this detail remains visible and is part of what helps experts and collectors identify original struck pieces versus altered or counterfeit specimens. In terms of numismatic context, 2008 is often described as a turning point, because the royal shield design was adopted across circulating denominations in a program that ran through the following decade, with the shield style grouping remaining an identifying hallmark of modern British coinage until later redesigns, so the 2008 £1 occupies a transitional place between the older royal arms and the fully unified shield series that followed. Collectors will also note that the Royal Mint issued multiple versions of the 2008 design for different markets: ordinary cupro-nickel circulation strikes, brilliant uncirculated collector issues, sterling silver proofs, and even 22-karat gold proof coins and presentation pieces for the collector market. These premium issues typically come in Royal Mint packaging with certificates and are struck to higher standards, which strongly affects their retail and auction values today. As for rarity and value, the regular circulated 2008 £1 is not generally rare and is commonly found in pocket change and on secondary markets in circulated grades, but mint stater proof examples, especially limited edition proofs, gold proofs, or specially issued numbered sets command premiums that reflect scarcity, condition, and collector demand. Additionally, varieties and minting errors, misstrikes, planchette flaws, or unusual edge irregularities can attract specialist interest and substantially higher prices when verified by grading services. Handling and preservation advice for anyone who owns a 2008 £1 intended for a collection is straightforward. Keep the coin in a stable, dry environment away from acidic papers and plastics that off-gas, ideally housed in inert coin flips or capsules. Avoid cleaning the coin with abrasives or chemical dips, since cleaning will usually reduce collector value, and if you believe you hold a particularly scarce or rare piece, consider submitting it to an established grading service, PCGS, NGC, or the Royal Mint's own verifying services to authenticate the strike and certify grade before attempting to sell. The 2008 £1 is also interesting as a historical snapshot. It represents the Royal Mint's efforts in the 2000s to refresh the appearance of British coinage while retaining heraldic symbolism and traditional inscriptions, and it is often used in educational descriptions of how coin design can reflect national identity, minting technology, and collectors' markets. The 1993 United Kingdom £1 coin is an unassuming but historically interesting example of the classic nickel-brass circulating pound introduced in 1983. It is a round, milled-edge coin struck in a nickel-brass alloy, measuring 22.50 mm across and weighing 9.50 grams, the standard size and composition used for the single metal £1 coins of that era. On the obverse, the heads side, the coin carries the then current crowned portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II by Raphael Makhlouf, a portrait used on UK coinage during the 1980s and early 1990s that shows the Queen wearing the diadem and facing right. That familiar effigy is finely modeled and gives the coin a dignified, official appearance. The reverse, the tails side, of the 1993 issue uses the original royal arms design created by Eric Sewell, a central shield bearing the quartered arms of the United Kingdom, surmounted by the crown and encircled by the garter and a delicate wreath of floral emblems. That design deliberately referenced Britain's heraldic traditions and was intended to symbolize the unity of the different nations of the United Kingdom, combining visual clarity with the small but precise details that coin engravers favor. Running around the edge of the coin is the Latin inscription, Decus et Tutement, literally, an ornament and a safeguard, an old-fashioned phrase placed on the edge to discourage clipping and to show that the coin's edge was complete and integral. On the modern £1 it served more as a traditional motto and an anti-counterfeiting feature than as a literal guarantee of weight. The 1993 circulating version was produced in very large numbers for everyday use. Authoritative catalogs and coin-checking resources record a circulation mintage of roughly 114,744,500 pieces, which is why the 1993 date is common in pocket change and is not regarded as rare as a circulated date. Collectors therefore typically value individual surviving specimens according to condition, uncirculated, mint state, or proof rather than date scarcity. Beyond the standard circulation strikes, the Royal Mint issued a variety of presentation and proof versions that are of more interest to collectors. These include silver proof and piedfort and special presentation sets in which the same design was struck with higher quality finishes or in precious metal, sometimes sold in limited runs and aimed at the numismatic market. Proof examples are struck with specially polished dies and planchettes, producing a frosted design on a mirror field and commanding a premium above face value. Silver-proof versions of the 1993 Royal Arms Pound were marketed and have their own limited mintage pedigrees, which collectors track separately from the huge circulation total. In everyday use, the nickel-brass alloy, a copper-rich alloy plated or formulated as specified by the Royal Mint, gives the coin its characteristic golden color. Over time, circulated specimens may develop a warm patina from handling, environmental exposure, or storage conditions. For collectors, that natural toning is often considered attractive, but bright, untoned examples in original mint packaging usually command higher prices. Identification tips are straightforward. Look for the Makhlouf crown bust on the obverse, the Sewell Royal Arms reverse, the milled edge and the characteristic edge legend Decus et Tutement, and check the diameter and weight if you have scales and calipers. 22.5 mm and 9.50 grams are the expected measures. If you're buying a single coin from a dealer or online, inspect the strike quality and any surface marks, hairline scratches, dents or heavy wear on the high points, the crown, quarters of the shield, Queen's portrait reduce the value. Conversely, well-struck examples with sharp fields and clear devices can be worth several times face value to collectors, especially in certified mint state grades or as part of a proof set. Market value for an ordinary circulated 1993 £1 is usually minimal because of the high mintage. Most change quality pieces are worth around face value to a few pounds to collectors, while uncirculated and proof pieces attract higher prices depending on grade and whether they appear in original Royal Mint packaging or have been certified by grading services. Online auction and dealer listings give a wide range of realized prices. Singles in poor condition sell for low premiums, while high-grade mint or proof examples sell for noticeably more. Silver-proof and limited presentation sets can reach higher levels in specialist sales. Contextually, it's useful to remember that this style of single metal pound remained legal tender for decades but was replaced by the modern 12-sided bimetallic pound introduced in 2017 to combat counterfeiting. The older round nickel-brass £1, including 1993 pieces, was demonetized and ceased to be legal tender on 15 October 2017, though they remain collectible and are still accepted by coin collectors and some banks for exchange. For a collector, assembling a set of all circulation dates, comparing proofs and presentation pieces, or seeking out exceptional condition examples are natural directions. If you're looking to resell, get an honest grade from a